Welcome to New Sky TV. I'm Susan, and today we've got some exciting content to share with you. 4 days have passed, but the news about Menglong still cuts deep into the hearts of the public like a sharp knife. A gentle, kind, and talented actor, his sudden passing at the very moment his career was about to take off, leaves behind shock and countless sighs. No one could believe that a name with a recent CCTV invitation, a growing fan base, and a bright future would be frozen at the prime of life at 37. He was not the kind of star who only pursued fame and fortune. His teaching, his charity work, and his quiet donation of $500,000 all proved that he had love and light in his heart. He was gentle and had a genuine smile, bringing laughter and touching moments to the audience on screen, while remaining humble and pure in his life. How could such a person disappear so suddenly? Fans are inconsolable, those in the industry are struggling to come to terms with the loss, and bystanders are filled with grief. Even more heartbreaking is the uncertainty surrounding the fate of his dog, who depended on him for life. Netizens have expressed their fear for it, fearing that it will end up on the streets. Friends spoke out, sharing chat logs, desperately trying to tell the world he wasn't the fragile or withdrawn person the outside world imagined, but a cheerful, warm, and hopeful person. But fate was cruel, bringing such a shining star to its premature end. For 4 days, doubts and controversies abounded, and the truth remained elusive. But today, 3 pieces of good news finally emerged, like glimmers of light amidst the gloom, bringing comfort to countless people. First, his beloved dog is expected to be properly adopted and will not be abandoned. Second, the company involved has voluntarily distanced itself from the incident and is no longer evading responsibility. And finally, a growing number of industry insiders have come forward, calling for the truth to be revealed and his innocence to be cleared. These 3 pieces of news seem to tear through the heavy air, bringing a ray of long-lost hope. Perhaps this world needs more light, someone brave enough to lift the fog of mystery. Menglong's short life demonstrated the value of kindness and perseverance, and his passing may become a force for truth and justice. The cause of his death remains undetermined, and none of his friends who dined with him have spoken out. The entertainment industry is known for its transparency, but this silence is unusual. 4 days after his death, his friends shared their chat logs, which only grew increasingly painful. Now, unexpectedly, 3 pieces of good news have finally arrived. He was only 37 years old, but perhaps due to the common anti-aging qualities of celebrities, he truly looked like a young man in his 20s, with clear eyes and a bright smile. Every time he appeared in public, he exuded a genuine warmth and gentleness. The drama Go Princess Go catapulted both its lead actors to stardom, and it was thought he would also rise to fame, but his career didn't go as smoothly as some had imagined. He didn't complain or become depressed, but instead quietly honed his acting skills, starring in a variety of roles and gradually building his reputation. His dedication was evident to the audience, and his gentle and unpretentious nature endeared him even more. Who could have imagined that such a man would suddenly pass away just as his career was about to begin a second spring? His life left its mark on more than one occasion, teaching, volunteering, donating, and even pouring his heart and soul into a stray dog. His world revolved not just around fame and fortune, but a genuine desire to bring warmth to as many people as possible. It's precisely because of this that his passing is so hard to accept, a fate that feels cruel. Now, the spread of 3 pieces of good news is like a candle in the darkness, small but enough to ignite long-lost comfort in people's hearts. The dog finally has a place to go and is no longer wandering. The company involved has cut ties and stopped evading the issue, and voices within the industry are gradually converging to clear his name. This is not the end, but a new beginning. People long for the day when the truth will be fully revealed, answering all their questions. After all, this world is full of darkness, but justice and light are what everyone desires most. Eventually, the supply of resources couldn't keep up with the demand for development, and his decline within the industry was unmistakable. Anyone with a discerning eye could easily see his popularity plummeting, his situation becoming increasingly unpopular. Yet, given his appearance and acting prowess, he shouldn't have remained so tepid. Later, after starring in Eternal Love, he achieved a minor surge in popularity, but even then, he couldn't break through the limitations of his existing circle and achieve wider recognition. Despite this, he persisted in living a good life, and now, it's been revealed that he once opted to volunteer as a teacher. Other celebrities, faced with such indifference, might have retired or perfected their acting skills, but he chose to be kind to others. His difficult situation was obvious to everyone, yet despite this, he donated 500,000 yuan without hesitation when disaster struck Henan, devastating the people and urgently needing aid. Although his name is Menglong, his experience is not vague at all. It is like a drizzle that quietly moistens the hearts of others. Therefore, when speculation circulated on the internet that he might commit suicide due to depression, everyone expressed doubts about it, thinking that such speculation was too absurd and unrealistic. In particular, his friends publicly posted the chat records between him and him as evidence to prove that he would never do such a thing. The friend said that when she wanted to leave the world impulsively, it was the other party who comforted her and told her that she should think about the many people in the world who love her, think about her family and friends. In fact, in real life, Xiaoyu also has many concerns in his heart. His mother and the dog he cherishes are both emotional ties that he cannot give up. Let go. In particular, less than 24 hours after his death, his studio released a statement claiming police had ruled out a criminal case. This development makes the entire incident feel like a dream, absurd, and filled with an indescribable sense of magic. People are even more skeptical, feeling that the case could not have been handled so quickly. Furthermore, his previous company has been deregistered, so who released the news about the studio? As of now, no one knows. All we can do now is to keep the heat on this matter and wait for definitive and reliable official results. Now, 4 days have passed, and finally, 3 pieces of good news have arrived. Following his passing, everyone is worried about what will become of his dogs. He had spoken of his 2 dogs, who had been his companions for years. Now, with his passing, the question of who cares for and feeds his dogs remains a mystery. At this moment, actress Lee King heard of his plight and immediately posted a message on her social media accounts expressing her condolences. This sentiment resonated with some, recalling the circumstances surrounding Jo Haimei's passing. At that time, Jo Haimei's mother resolutely decided to sell her luxury home and return to her hometown to spend her final years. As for Jo Haimei's 2 dogs, they were adopted by actress Lee King, who lives in Beijing and has given them a loving home. She is a well-known dog lover. As an actress, she is financially well off and has always been passionate about taking in stray dogs. Therefore, many people felt that if anyone was unable to continue keeping their dogs, she could become their new owner and adopt them. At the time, some netizens specifically approached her about this, and she expressed great enthusiasm and willingness to take on the task. However, the ultimate fate of the dogs may still depend on Xiaoyu's mother. After all, after her child's death, her children's dogs became one of her last remaining memories. Regardless, at least we don't have to worry too much about the dog's future. The second piece of exciting news is that a company called Beijing Qinghuan International Entertainment has decided to distance itself from the 3 suspects and completely cut ties. Originally, if he hadn't published the relevant content, people would have at most harbored suspicions. But his posting has raised suspicions. Could it be that the other party actually knew something inside and did this intentionally? However, the possibility of him taking advantage of the situation to capitalize on the hype cannot be ruled out, as many people had never heard of this company before. However, at least his severing ties has reignited a wave of heated discussion, keeping the public's discussion and opinions on this matter heated and unwavering. The third piece of encouraging news is that a growing number of industry insiders are finally speaking out. On September 13, Sun Darren published an article filled with indignation. He felt that there were many suspicious circumstances surrounding the man's death. He also mentioned that when he first entered the entertainment industry, he treated him with great care and concern, like his own son. Therefore, he could not accept his man's unexplained and inexplicable death. And he is not the first to express doubts and suspicions. Director Wang Xiaoda also expressed his views, believing that the cause of death should be reinvestigated. Chen Xiaodong, who once participated in the filming of his program, was he even more indignant. A direct question: why is it so difficult to be open and honest? After all, the paparazzi's initial report clearly stated that he was drinking at a friend's house. Logically, he must have been there. Yet, even now, not a single one of those so-called friends at the dinner has dared to come forward and admit they were there. Once implicated in an incident, those involved often immediately act as if they're ready to call the police or simply remain silent. If confronted, they simply delete their posts, change their account search permissions, and remain silent throughout the entire process. This behavior only makes them seem even more suspicious. It's no wonder he was filled with indignation, shouting, "This world truly needs more light." Seeing more and more people speaking out in his defense, I can't help but feel a sense of relief. Such a wonderful child shouldn't have left this world in such a bizarre way. At the very least, someone needs to explain the events and preserve his innocence.